So, hello everyone. Welcome to Star Studio with Monique Rodriguez. She is the CEO of Mielle Organics, and she has a very fascinating story to tell. Right, so she wasn't always into her beauty company. She started out. Well, I'll let her tell her story, but she started out as an RN and she wanted more. And so ultimately, I believe her story started in 2014 for Mielle Organics, and she's now this internationally known beauty brand that is taking the world by storm. Let's get into it. She also, and this is what we're here for today, she also started the series Unmasked. I Know My Roots. And it is a campaign about empowering and inspiring multicultural girls and women around the world so that they can become confident and be confident in their own skin. So I'm excited to talk to her about that. But before we get started, welcome Monique to the show. Everybody knows who you are, but just in case people don't, because everybody uses your products, but just in case people don't, just give them a snippet of who you are, and let's talk about your journey from the beginning into creating Mielle Organics.
Yes. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for the warm introduction. My name is Monique Rodriguez, and I am the CEO and founder of Mielle Organics. And like you said, my journey started in 2014 with the creation of Mielle, but my journey started way before that. Um, I graduated college at the age of 21, and I immediately went into nursing. I worked as a labor and delivery nurse. And the reason why I became a nurse is because, growing up and being from the south side of Chicago, my mom was pretty much a single mother. Like my dad, he was there, but he wasn't necessarily present because he suffers with drug addiction, which is a mental illness. And so, I don't fault him, but, he just wasn't there mentally for me. So my mom pretty much did the best that she can do to raise me and my brother. And she always instilled in me, like, she taught me how to survive. She taught me how to take care of myself. She taught me how to be an independent woman. She always told me, like, you don't need to rely on a man to take care of you. You have to go out there and get it on your own. So she always instilled the nursing career off on me because she worked at a hospital. And she was a unit secretary at the hospital that she worked at for like 30 something years before she retired a couple of years ago. And so growing up, I was always exposed to the healthcare environment, and I was exposed to a lot of nurses. And growing up, seeing my mom struggle being a unit secretary and seeing like the nurses that were around her, like, they had really nice things and they seemed to be doing really good for themselves. And so she would always tell me, like, if you become a nurse, you'll always have a job. Like, look at my friends, they have this, they have that. So she always just pushed that off on me. And I was like, well, okay, you always want to be better than your parents, and your parents always want their children to be better than them. So I thought that nursing was my route to success. I thought that was my ticket to, this journey of success. And growing up, when you grow up in an environment that's pretty much survival, you really only think that there is one way to success, and that's to go to college, work a 9 to 5 job, and then you retire and you collect your pension. But for me, I saw beyond that. And even though I wasn't exposed to women entrepreneurs growing up, let alone Black women entrepreneurs, like I still always had that vision inside of me, like, well, one day I'm gonna be my own, I'm gonna have my own business, like I'm gonna be a business owner. And so when you think about kids, like every kid plays house, right? At least they used to play house in the generation that I grew up. Now they play
Mhm.
video games. But
Right.
usually when kids play house, the girl is the wife and the boy is the husband. I was like, I'm gonna be the business owner. So that was always a vision inside of me, and I know that that vision came from God, because how else would I have known that, right? And so, because I had the desire to always own my business, even throughout my nursing career, I tried to start a lot of different things. Like I went from being, direct sales, Mary Kay, Avon, Scentsy Candle. I even tried to start my own nursing agency business. So I was always like searching for a way to get out of nursing and trying to start a business. And, the thing that I realized is that everything that I tried before Mielle, I never sought him first, because it says, seek him first and all things will be added unto you, right? At that time, I knew there was a guy, but I didn't necessarily have a relationship with him. I was trying to figure out things my way and not figuring out things God's will for my life. And in 2013, I was pregnant with our third child, and I was pregnant with our son. And I had a high risk pregnancy, and unfortunately, because of that high risk, my son, he lost his life because of the high risk pregnancy. And as you can
Right.
imagine, it was a full term pregnancy, and it was so tragic. I was literally like just caught off guard, and complete my whole world was just turned upside down because I couldn't understand, like, why did this happen to me? And I
Mm-hmm.
went from asking God, you go through a grieving process, and I asked God, like, why me? Like, why did this happen to me? I did everything right. I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to school, like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Like, why did something bad like this happen? And then I started to ask God, what are you trying to teach me from this? What are you trying to show me?
Mm-hmm.
And number one, he was showing me to trust in him.
Mm-hmm.
He was showing me to increase my faith in him. And he was showing me that I truly have to let him be the center of my life. And I have to put him first in everything that I do. And that's what I wasn't doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and he was also showing me the way to salvation. So throughout, the hurt and pain that my husband and I went through with my son, my husband and I, we started going to church more. We got saved. And when I tell you, when we got saved, like when they talk about God shifted the atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
like he shifted, like things shifted, for me and my husband and my family, because my whole mindset and my thinking, it just shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like I can say I don't know where it came from, but I do know where it came from, because I was able to, you know, slowly get back to normal. And I started talking about hair care on social media, and I had got this idea, and I told my husband my initial idea was to open up a hair salon, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want to help women feel beautiful. Like, I felt inside of me that it was my duty to pour back into other women, even going through what I was going through. And I was like, I want women to feel beautiful, because I was challenged with my own natural hair journey, and wanting to wear my hair curly because my hair
Mm-hmm.
was severely heat damaged. And my husband, he was like, go for it, whatever it is that you desire, like, go for it. And he saw that it was an outlet for me. And so the idea just popped in my head. And I said, well, I'm going to just start talking about hair care on social media. And I started, talking about hair care, like talking about different products, different ingredients. And then it went from that to, now let me create different things and let me test it on my hair, because I was trying to fix my own hair.
Right.
And then that led from me making concoctions to people now asking, can I buy your concoctions that you're making? And that's when I literally had the light bulb moment, and I knew exactly what my purpose was. But it took my pain to lead me to my purpose. And that's literally how Mielle Organics was created. Came from a
Mm-hmm.
painful place of me wanting to express myself creatively. And I started with one bottle of oil, created a website, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's such a touching and inspirational and heartfelt story. My condolences to you on your son, on the passing of your son. That is so tragic and traumatic. So my sincere condolences to you for that. I can feel your pain with that.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. But like you said, out of that was birth my L. And you said you know where it comes from. You don't want to say that you didn't know where it comes from, but you said that it led you more to trusting in God, increasing your faith, and letting Him be the center of your life. And I think that's where a lot of great things start. So, and then on top of that, you had the support of your family. Like, I think people underestimate the support of husbands, families, relationships, and it's just so great to hear that your husband was there to support you and champion you on throughout your entire process, including, baby, just go for it. So that's definitely inspirational to hear. So, so you said you
Yeah,
started with
thank
one
you.
product. Absolutely. So you said you started with one product. Now, where are you? How many products across the world? Like, tell us where Mielle Organics is now. You started with the almond oil, right? And now you have a plethora of beauty products,
Yes.
and you're getting into skincare too. So tell us more about that.
So yes, I started with our mint almond oil, which we still sell today. And now we're at 60 plus products, and we are in over like 100,000 stores across America. We're also a global beauty brand. So we've expanded to the UK, South Africa, Nigeria, Dubai, the Caribbean. So we're currently still expanding, and you know, pretty much the sky is the limit. For us, because I built a great brand, and
Mhm.
because if you focus on building a great brand, you can branch out into, wherever you want if you do it correctly. So, we branched out into skincare because our consumers demanded for Mielle to have a skincare line. And
Mhm.
that's the thing, like, I really am keen on listening to my consumers. That's why I'm so actively involved in social media. And I talk to people on an everyday basis because I really want to know, how can I be a better service to you and help solve some of the problems that you have and give you the best high quality products in doing so. And so I'm committed to that. And in order for me to stay committed to that, I have to keep my ear to the consumer. And so with me just continuing to listen is how we're going to continue to expand.
Yes. Listening is definitely a key quality of being a leader. And you have a great definition of what leadership means. I heard you say it at one of our previous events, Cocktails and Conversations with Cynthia Bailey, that was sponsored by Seagram's. But give it to us again, because I really think a lot of people need to hear this, because when people say I'm a boss or they are these self-proclaimed leaders, a lot of the times they're in it for self. But give us your definition of what leadership means to you and what being a boss means to you.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the thing is, I do think that the term boss is thrown around so loosely because there are, like you said, self-proclaimed bosses, and like they don't really understand what it takes to be a boss, right? They think that being a boss is being flashy and showing what you buy from the proceeds of what you earn from creating the business. Like, that's not what a boss represents. Because what I knew from the very beginning, that being an entrepreneur, it ain't about you. Like, you want to be a boss, that's fine, but you got to realize that being a boss is not about you.
Yeah.
And it's really about how many other bosses or how many other leaders you create from using your platform. And
Mhm.
for me, I've always been committed to that. We created our More Than a Strand campaign, which does just that, creates more bosses. We created a $1 million fund to
Awesome.
develop more bosses.
Mhm.
So my journey in entrepreneurship and being a so-called boss, like, I don't even use that term because it's like, I feel like it's just so loosely and that doesn't describe who I am. Like,
Mhm.
I like to, look at myself as a true leader, and someone that's building the kingdom, because my mission and kingdom building and what we call marketplace ministry is building other people up as well. And it's all about serving others. When you go into things with a servant mentality, that's
Mhm.
what qualifies you as a true leader or a quote unquote boss.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of people need to hear and understand, not just hear, but understand and receive that that's the responsibility of a leader, is to create more leaders. Like if you went in and you just want to be a boss by yourself, then you just going to be by yourself. And I don't think that you're going to be
Yep.
as successful as you would with creating more bosses. So I definitely resonate with that. I think that is a great way to sum up being a boss, being a leader. Now, in that same vein, I like to ask successful people about what success means to you, because everybody has a different they think of it different. They have a different definition of what success means to them. So what does success mean to you, and how do you define it for you and your family and your business?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. And for me, success is freedom and flexibility and creating opportunities for other people.
Mhm.
So the more people that I'm able to bring on and hire, that's what equates to success. Like, I'm able to employ my community. Black people that may or may not have had the same opportunity in corporate America, I've given them that opportunity here at Mielle,
Mhm.
and changing their lives and impacting their lives. When we give out our bonus checks, and just to see how I am changing their lives, is that's success.
Yeah.
And I've always said when I talk about freedom and flexibility, because when I worked as a nurse, I don't want to use the word hate, but I strongly dislike working as a nurse because I felt like it controlled my schedule.
Mm.
I couldn't, I had to work holidays, I had to work every other weekend. And I'm a family girl, so I wanted to be with my kids. I did not want to miss their activities. And I'm like, this can't be life. Like, how
Right.
is this like job stability and success when I can't even have the freedom and flexibility to live life on my own terms? So that's what success is to me, because now that I've created my own business, I can live on my own freedom and flexibility and do, I won't say do as I choose because I still have a boss. My customers are my boss. And if we got orders going out and they stuff ain't shipped yet, then I still got to work on their schedule.
Right.
But all in all, is really just having that freedom and flexibility to be with my family and to just live out my purpose and do things that I love doing. That's what equates to success for me.
Yeah. Freedom, flexibility, time, owning your time, doing what you want to do in your time is so, I think it's undervalued. A lot of people say, I'll get to it tomorrow or I'll do it whenever I have time. You don't know when your time is up. And time is one of the most precious things that we can get back. We can't change the past. So let's own our own time and do what we choose to do in that time, as opposed to working on holidays and not making babies games and being with family and family functions and so to speak. So yeah, now let's get into I Know My Roots series. So we are still in Women's History Month, and you launched this campaign. It's for multicultural women and girls, and it empowers them. Why it was a campaign like this necessary, and why did you feel it was imperative to launch it during Women's History Month?
So a campaign like this with our I Know My Roots Unmasked campaign is extremely important in today's society with, everything that you see on social media, right? I tell my kids this: social media is fake. Don't believe anything that you see, half of what you see on social media, because it's not real. And we see a lot of fake images on
Mhm.
social media.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of girls or women, young girls especially, that are um, not truly being their authentic self,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And what that does is it leaves an impression on our younger generation of young girls that are growing up to think that this is what they need to do to be successful or to get likes or followers on social media. And the I Know My Roots campaign is really just helping young girls embrace their natural beauty, to be inspired and to see women that, look like me and the other women that are in this campaign, Toya and Latoya, like just not afraid to go back to our roots and to share our hair story and to help young girls know that, you can wear your natural hair at a workplace. You can wear your natural hair on a photo shoot. You can wear your natural hair in corporate America,
Mhm.
but it's really up to you. Be however versatile you want to be, but it's really whatever makes you happy.
Mhm.
And that's why we took it all the way back to our childhood, because when we were all growing up as kids, it was, you had to conform to one way of beauty, right? And that was, we all had the perms, or we all, went to the shop and got our hair pressed out, and it was
Straighten.
always straight.
Mhm.
Like that was only one way that you had to look to be considered as beautiful. And now we want young girls to know, like, express yourself through your hair, like express yourself
Yeah.
through being authentically you. And, sharing our story can possibly help another young girl to say, you know what, I'm not like my mom is telling me that, but maybe let me help educate my mom. Like, mom, I don't have to wear my hair straight. I can wear my hair curly to school and it's beautiful. And so it's just really helping young girls embrace their natural beauty, going back to your roots, embracing your natural hair and being proud of it and living authentically you pretty
Yeah.
much.
Hmm. So you mentioned Latoya Luckett and Toya Johnson. They are both ambassadors for this campaign. They share their stories, and of course, they have young daughters. Why was it important to include them in this series as well?
Yeah, so obviously, Toya Johnson, I've worked with her. We've known each other for probably since the beginning of Mielle. So I know her very well. And
Mhm.
Latoya Luckett, I most recently met her. And they have just the most beautifulest souls and spirits, great energy. great positivity. I mean, we're all mothers, we're aligned as far as like our vision and our mission. And I love the fact that Toya Johnson, like, her youngest daughter, like she's always helped, showing off her natural hair. And, I see like what she's instilling in her youngest daughter. And I think that is just so wonderful. And even like she talked about her oldest daughter, Reginae, and, you know, how she has instilled Reginae to just be beautiful
Mm-hmm.
from within. Like she's going on her natural hair journey, and she's sharing like her hair struggles as well, and not being afraid to be transparent and open and honest with your audience. And that's what I love about them. And they're both bosses, but real bosses, and just what they represent. And like I said, I really feed off of people with great energy and that really represent positivity, and they both do that for me.
Absolutely. I love it. Now you mentioned you have daughters as well. What are their ages and do they also play a part in Mielle Organics? Do you include them in the business as well?
Yeah, so my daughters are 11 and 15, and they are a part of Mielle when they want to be a part of Mielle. They have pretty much grown up in the business. When I started, when I started Mielle, they were like 4 and 8 years old. So they've literally like grown up with it. So they're kind of like used to it and comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like my youngest daughter, she doesn't even remember being a nurse. And so they're not necessarily as hands on. Mia, she loves testing products. She'll like give me recommendations on like fragrances that we like to use, but they're not as hands on, and I don't force them to be either.
Yeah.
Like I really force my kids to do whatever they're passionate about, because I know how it is to kind of be forced upon something that you don't really love. So it's like, Mielle is here if you want to participate, but I'm not going to force them. I really encourage them to live out their own passions and dreams. And but when we did our photo shoot with Meg the Stallion, oh, they were all
Oh,
game
I'm
to go
sure.
to that. So
I'm sure, but that's great to hear. And it sounds like you are an impeccable mentor and leader to them, role model to them, mom to them, all of that. We definitely appreciate that with you. G- Let us know. In Women's History Month, of course, we celebrate sisters with superpowers. What do you consider your superpower to be? And then the last question is going to be, how do you see your legacy evolving? So superpowers first. What do you consider your superpowers to be? And then how do you want to leave your legacy?
yeah. So my superpower is my faith, and I'm so strong and vocal about my faith in God, because He is the reason why I'm able to do what I do. He is the reason why I have the strength to do what I do on an everyday basis. He
Mm-hmm.
is the reason why I've been able to even discover who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen how life was before having a relationship with Him, and now how life is after having a relationship with Him. And I just continue to lean on Him and for guidance, and for everything I lean on His word. And so that is my superpower. And you got to think about it in business and life. Like there're going to be challenges, there're going to be roadblocks and obstacles, but because my foundation is strong, like they say, when you build your house on a foundation, you want to build your house on a solid foundation. Well, it's the same thing with my faith, because when challenges come, when people talk about me, when people have bad things to say, because not everybody's gonna like what I do, like it doesn't phase me, because I know who I am in Christ, and I know my faith is strong, and what God has for me, no man can take that away. No man can keep me from my destiny. So it's things like that that keep me going. And so I would say that is definitely my superpower. And then as far as like my legacy, I feel like your legacy, people think of legacy as like what you want to leave when you're no longer here on earth, but I do think that you can live out your legacy while you're still here on earth. And
Mm-hmm.
legacy for me is how I am impacting people on this journey. So my legacy is the lives that I change and the lives that I impact. And I feel like I'm doing that right now. And we have so much coming up, so much in store that I just can't wait to share with my community, because again, it's about impact. We are, you know, spending money to black owned, giving money to black owned businesses. We've bought cars in the past. We're buying more cars for our community. With our More Than a Strand campaign, we have launched a entrepreneurship certification program with Rutgers and Newark Business Hub. We have a $1 million fund that we are giving back to Black business owners that were affected from COVID and, all the things that were going on in the world in 2020. So, I mean, I feel like I'm doing that now. And for my legacy is just to continue creating impact and changing the lives on anyone that comes in contact with me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on Rolling Out's show. Tell people where they can find more information about Unmasks. I'm going to pull up the website right here, but tell everyone where they can find Unmasked, I Know My Roots, and more information about this campaign. You guys look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, so definitely follow us on mielleorganics.com, or at Mielle Organics on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can follow me personally at Exquisite Mo because I also talk about the campaign there. And then, on our website, morethanAstrand.com, is information about all the give back initiatives that we have going on. So
Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate your time. We are excited and eager to find out the rest of the things that you have going on. So definitely keep us in touch, and we'll stay in touch with you as well to find out all of the other things that you have coming up this year. Especially, we want to know about the Meg Thee Stallion shoot too. That your daughters were here. Yes. So
of course, of course.
absolutely. Well, thank you, Monique. It's a pleasure. We'll keep in touch and we'll follow your journey because it is definitely a beautiful and an inspirational one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye bye.
Bye.